We are in a brand new era of cyber warfare in India. It's this invisible battlefield where both sides, the attackers and the defenders, are armed with the exact same weapon, artificial intelligence. And for a country that's right in the middle of this massive digital explosion, well, the stakes just couldn't be any higher.
So let's just kick things off with a number that really tells the whole story. A massive 83%. 83% of Indian organizations are dealing with cyber threats every single year. This isn't some far-off futuristic problem. It is happening right here, right now.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to look at why India has become such a huge target. Then, we'll dive into how attackers are using AI, and, this is the important part, how we can use it to fight back. After that, we'll see what a real-world defense actually looks like, and finally, take a peek at what's coming next on the cyber frontier.
So first up, let's set the stage. India's incredible digital transformation has opened up so many amazing opportunities, right? But it's also painted this huge target on its back for cybercriminals all over the world.
I mean, think about it. With almost 1 billion people online, thanks to initiatives like Digital India, everything is getting connected. But here's the flip side. More data, more connections, that just means a much, much bigger attack surface. It's like adding millions of new doors and windows for criminals to try and pick the lock.
And this is where it gets really concerning. Just look at the gap on this chart. Over on the left, that little sliver, that's the 24% of organizations that are actually prepared. And then you've got, well, everyone else. A recent study from Cisco found that only about 1 in 4 businesses are truly ready for a modern attack. That's a massive vulnerability just waiting to be exploited.
And a huge reason for that gap? It comes down to this. Nearly half of all the network gear out there globally is old or obsolete. This creates something called technical debt. Basically, a huge pile of aging, unpatched systems that are now prime targets for attackers.
Now, this brings us to the really urgent part of the problem. See, it's not just that the technology is old, it's that the attackers are using brand new AI-powered tools to find and exploit those weaknesses at speeds that are just unbelievable.
This quote from Huzaifa Modiwala really hits the nail on the head. It captures the huge mindset shift we need. Those old vulnerabilities, the unpatched server, that old camera system that might have been low on the to-do list, they're not theoretical risks anymore. They're immediate, high-priority threats, precisely because AI can find and weaponize them in a matter of minutes.
And this right here shows you just how fast it can happen. What used to take a team of hackers weeks of work, an AI can now do in a few minutes. It can automatically scan for weaknesses, test stolen passwords, and set up a backdoor before a human defender even has their morning coffee. The biggest change is this. Attackers don't have to break in anymore. They use AI to find a way to simply log in. And this whole attack chain, from the first breach to stealing all the data, it can be over and done in just 25 minutes.
So the attacks themselves have completely changed. We're now dealing with things like generative AI malware that rewrites its own code to avoid being caught. We're seeing incredibly sophisticated ransomware from groups that don't just lock your data, they steal it first. Then you have these sneaky supply chain attacks, where they infect one small software vendor to get access to hundreds of their clients. And of course, AIs that are built to do nothing but hunt for brand new, unknown vulnerabilities.
So, that all sounds pretty bleak, right? But here's the good news. The way forward is to use the exact same technology that's fueling these attacks as our most powerful shield. It is literally time to fight fire with fire.
So what exactly do we mean by AI-driven cybersecurity? Well, it's a total shift from the old way of doing things. Instead of just having a list of known bad guys, it uses machine learning to understand what normal looks like on your network. And then, it relentlessly hunts for anything at all that looks even slightly out of place.
And this comparison makes the difference crystal clear. Traditional security, on the left, is like a bouncer with a photo album of known troublemakers. If a new one shows up, they might just walk right in. But AI-powered security, on the right, that's like a bouncer who knows the normal behavior of every single person in the club and can spot trouble the second it starts, and then respond in milliseconds.
And the benefits here are very real. You get way better threat detection and incredibly fast response times. It can even spot insider threats or when an employee's password has been stolen. And all of this actually leads to major cost savings. We're talking up to 40%, while making it super easy to protect today's complex environments with cloud apps and remote workers.
Okay, so the theory is great, but how do we actually put this into action? Let's look at the practical steps that Indian organizations and the government are taking right now to build a cyber-resilient future. First things first, you have to know where the attacks are hitting hardest. And as you can see, the banking and financial services sector is getting hammered, making up over 17% of all incidents.
Right behind it is the education sector. Understanding this lets us prioritize our defenses where they're needed the absolute most. And now there's another huge motivator. Thanks to the new Digital Personal Data Protection Act, having strong cybersecurity isn't just a good idea anymore. It's the law. Failing to protect data properly isn't just a tech problem. It's now a serious legal and financial liability for the business.
So, for any business leader out there wondering, okay, where do I start? Here it is. A clear 4-step framework. It all starts with understanding your own risks. Then, you choose the right partner, you train your people to work with the AI, and finally, you build everything on a zero-trust foundation, which basically means you trust nothing and verify everything every single time.
And here's the thing, this isn't just up to individual companies. It's a national effort. The Indian government is building a whole support system, from CERT-In, which is the National Emergency Response Team, all the way to developing homegrown security tools, and even offering free malware cleaning services to everyday citizens.
All right, so we've talked about what's happening now, but this whole game is evolving at light speed. To stay ahead, we have to start preparing for the threats that are just over the horizon.
Looking ahead, AI is going to be absolutely critical on 3 major fronts. We'll need it to develop new kinds of encryption that can stand up to quantum computers. We'll need it to protect the massive new attack surface created by 5G networks. And we'll need it to automatically secure all the data that's constantly moving to the cloud.
And that really brings us to the final and most critical question. In this new world of AI-driven attacks and defenses, just protecting the old perimeter isn't nearly enough. The real challenge, the question you have to ask yourself is this: is your organization set up to defend yesterday's network, or are you building the resilience to face the threats of tomorrow?